Page 16, Take My Breath Away. 4/4 time, no sharps or flats. We're in different positions here. You're kind of going to get out of that 5-finger position more and more, so you just put your hands where the music tells you to put them. So let's take this one hand at a time, make sure we get this rhythm. All these eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and You're starting 4th finger on C, so you're starting in this position. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. See, it's tied across the bar line. 4 and 1 and. If that confuses you, then take out the tie and play all the notes. Like so. But once you get that, put the tie back in because it's important. It adds syncopation to it. It's kind of neat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Do that smart. Last line on measure 9. Same rhythm, different notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Okay, page 17, measure 12. The left hand's got the first bunch of eighth notes, and then we get the last 3. And 4 and 4 and we got the same rhythm we had before. Measure 15, you're here, and then measure 16. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and. It's a little confusing the way the music is written here. So let's just cover this carefully. It makes a little more sense when I put the hands together. But there's actually an 8th rest in the top staff that you don't see. So this is measure 17. 1 and 2 and rest. They don't put in a rest because of the way the music is written. You see the eighth notes, the beam on the eighth notes, well, is tied to the bottom staff. So they're considering both staves together as a unit, and so they're not putting in an 8th rest in the top staff. Different publishers will do this differently. This is the way they've done it, and I ain't getting into it. It's just know that there's a rest in the right hand. 1 and 2 and 3, because the left hand's playing, and the same thing in measure 18 and 19, same thing. 18. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Bring the thumb down. Don't move the hand down, just thumb's doing. You got that same rhythm with all those hidden rests you don't see in there. Okay. Left hand. Well, so they want 2 and 1 here, so you're kind of in this position to start. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Bring thumb down. 4, 1. 1. 4. And the C chord. 1. 4, 1. 4, 1. 1. During the rest you come down. So it's 1, 2, 3, rest. Now it's a broken chord. Come down during the rest. Now you're not coming down, it's just a C and a G, 5, 7, 1, okay. And measure 12. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And then you rest for the rest of the measure. But again, they kind of put the 2 stabs together, so it's all considered one line, so they're not putting in rests in the bottom staff. Just, it's 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just rest on 4 and then rest. Okay. Put the hands together. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. 1 and 2. See, the hardest part for me is not playing on the first beat in the left hand. I want to play on beat 1 in the left hand. want to do. I want to play that on beat 1, and it's got a rest there. That is sneaky. Now I can play on beat 1 and that. Rest, measure 12. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. See, now be careful here because the rests aren't written in. It's like on measure 17, you have a half note. That comes up on beat 3. Even though there's no rest written in there, it comes up. It's 1, 2, 3. It comes up as you play that third beat. 1, 2, 3. Don't hold it down. It comes up. And it goes like this throughout. You know, a half note gets 2 counts. It doesn't matter what comes after it. It gets 2 counts and it's done. That's the way it goes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Nobody actually plays on beat 1, and that throws me because you're hanging on to a note for beat 1. Ugh. So you go through at your speed and work out this rhythm, whatever you need. Get rid of the hesitations because it needs to be a steady beat eventually. It can be slow. Go real slow. It's fine. Use a metronome if you got one. But no hesitations. No wrong notes. Then, as far as the slurs and phrasing goes, I suggest you just connect everything you can. Because they've got slurring in here, the phrasing in here, and you're lifting up, you got rest between them, so it's built in for you, you don't have to worry about it. But it's like a measure 12. So, I don't know what kind of phrasing that is, a slur, it doesn't make any sense to me, but I would slur all that together. So I disagree with their slurring they've got on measure 12. Now when you start on measure 16 here, there you go. And you can lift up, that makes sense. You hear recordings of this, you can hear them do that. So I start on measure 15, you're here. 1, 2, lift up. Lift up on those, that makes sense. Okay, and the last line there at there's a retardando there, slow down. Well, the song actually ended on measure 25 here, and but they're ending on a 4 chord. That could have been a 1 chord, but they're carrying it out for another measure. Dynamic wise, well, it goes to the melody, and they don't give you much of anything on dynamics. You're starting out sort of moderately loud. Keep the lift hand soft. And you're staying there, you have to stay exactly that. You can get a little louder and softer after you get to know the piece and you can feel the music. But then on page 17, when you get to measure 16, you're going to go up to loud. Just a little louder, keep the left hand in the background. So it's measure 15 here. I tend to want to come down and do another crescendo. Like I did on above, and then the last line I do the same thing. And then you have a swell there in the last line. So you're going to go up to swell to here. That's your target note. I always look in the middle of a swell to see what note or notes are there, and that's my target. I'm going to there. Louder on here, and then down. And at the end, both hands are the same there. Because there's no melody, it's just a chord. Speed-wise, well, I'm sure you can find recordings of this, but moderately slow again, that's the feel of it. It's not the beat, it's the feel. Something you'll have to decide on the speed. Again, I play by feel, so I'd play it 10 times, I'd play it different every time. I tend to feel a long day crescendo on page 17, starting with measure 16 when you get louder. On each of this is a sequence going down. I tend to get just a little softer with each of those, and then start crescendo back up. A little softer, a little softer, a little softer. I actually go down. So yeah, I'm kind of moderately soft in here. And then I can start soft. Yeah, so I'm not ending this loud. That's just how I felt it. It's part of interpreting the music. Get to know it. And how do you feel it? That's how you play it. I'd like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do the dynamics. I'll give us 4 counts. Let's just go to do it very slowly together. 1 and 2 and ready and go, and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1, 2, rest. Rest. 2,